I'm Cherylanne Skolnicki, and this is Brilliant Balance, the show for working women who are ready to shine. Each week, I bring you ideas, inspiration, and insight on balance, business, and getting it all done gracefully. You ready? Let's be brilliant. This is episode 121 of the Brilliant Balance podcast. And today we're talking about the real danger of being busy all the time. I know so many of you are busy, and you stay busy all the time, and it's a way of life, and it feels like there's no alternative. And believe me when I tell you, I can relate. It has actually been a really busy month around here. About a month or so ago in January, I gathered my team in our conference room and I told them to prepare for a sprint. We looked ahead at what was coming up in early January and even into the middle of February, and there was a lot happening on top of each other. I think we're testing ourselves a bit to see just how fast we can run as a team. How many things can we do and still uphold like the quality that we want and the level of service that we want for our clients? And, we're testing, like, where can we find efficiencies and where can we do things simultaneously that we used to do sequentially? And everything about my little efficiency-loving brain loves that. Sprints can be really fun for a while. You just can't sprint forever. And candidly, too many of us are living lives with no rest, no breaks, just going from morning till night, 7 days a week, and trying to catch whatever life throws at us. And that, in fact, is dangerous. And I want to talk about what a few of the big dangers and risks are of being busy all the time, not knowing how to cadence between sprinting and recovery. But I'm saving the biggest one for last, because as I thought about this and thought about what really is the risk of staying in a dead sprint all the time, there's one that outweighs the others. And so we're going to talk about three today. And hopefully you'll get some insight here that you can take back and apply. I would love for you to have something unlock in your mind today that tells you it's time for a change. It's time for me to find a different rhythm for how I live my life so that I can get even better results. And importantly, so I can feel better, and just enjoy the ride a whole lot more. It can be a fast ride. Fast rides are fun, but you want to be able to enjoy the ride and not feel, the negative effects of it if possible. So let's talk about a few of the risks or challenges that come with living life on full speed ahead, all the time. The first one is we then go through, I would call it a chronic stress response. Okay, so a stress response is some kind of physiological response that we have to a perceived threat in our environment, right? It's a leftover mechanism that our bodies have from prehistoric times, we'll call it, right? This is evolutionary. And when we sense danger, our bodies release adrenaline to get us ready to escape that danger. And that also our bodies release endorphins so that we can numb out against any pain that is headed our way, right? So essentially, when our body thinks there's danger coming, it thinks we're going to need two things. We're going to need a lot of speed so that we can move really quickly and get away from the danger. And we're probably about to experience some pain, so we need a bunch of endorphins to numb those out. So our heart rate goes up, our muscles tighten, our senses kind of go on overdrive, and we get this massive power boost that preps us to run from danger. Now, that response is very helpful if we're in actual danger, when the fight or flight response is really appropriate, right? Like your house is on fire and you have to get out of it, right? Or, somebody is chasing you and you have to get away from them. But it is not useful when we actually can't use our body to deal with the stressor. And so what happens then is we're ready, our body is primed to deal with this stressor. It's ready to run fast, or it's ready. But our body doesn't have a role to play because the stress we're experiencing is mental, right? So we're having a challenge with our boss, or our workload is too high, or the number of activities we're trying to keep up with the kids is insane. And so these stress hormones just keep building up because they never get released. And this is a big problem because, our body is not prepped to hold on to all of those stress hormones. When our cortisol level is raised and our endorphin levels are raised and our adrenaline level is raised, our body does not know what to do with it. And so we start to go haywire, right? And we'll get things like sleep problems. Hello, right? 30 Days to Vibrant Energy exists because so many people in our audience have sleep problems. They're exhausted all the time. You can get heart palpitations. You can have headaches. You can have a lot of GI symptoms, right? Like stomach aches or cramping or just stomach discomfort. So I know a lot of times those symptoms are brought on by chronic stress. And we can deal with one of these or, we can deal with short-term episodes of these. But when we are in chronic stress, we actually have a physical response to it because our body doesn't have any way to use all those hormones that it's producing. Okay? So that is the first probable danger of being busy all the time is we are asking a lot of our bodies. We are invoking a chronic stress response in our bodies, and we are not feeling good physically because of it. Okay? The second thing that I see show up when we are busy all the time is our relationships suffer. And it's almost a linear relationship. The busier we are, the more our relationships suffer, right? We get overtired. We get overworked. We feel like we don't have any time to really share a moment with somebody that we love. And honestly, we aren't even present when we're physically present. We're sitting right in the room, but we're not really there mentally. Because being busy all the time takes a lot of emotional energy in addition to physical energy. And so it becomes really easy to lose that spark or that intimacy or that connection in our relationships. And that can be a relationship with your partner. It can be a relationship with your children. It can be a relationship with your friends, right? When we don't know how to turn ourselves off, when we're on all the time, it creates this phenomenon that's sometimes called toxic time. Toxic time is when we're physically there, but we're emotionally preoccupied, right? Mentally or emotionally preoccupied with something else. So you might be sitting on the sidelines at a soccer game, but you're worried about, am I going to have enough money saved for college, right? Or you're on a date, you're having a great night out, or you should be having a great night out, but you're worried about a project at work. And so you're not actually there. You're not actually having the moment, right? And then that gets into this yucky cycle where then we feel guilty about all the things we should be doing other than the thing we're doing right now. We don't feel like we're ever in the right place at the right time. So I love this term. I don't like the concept, but I like the term toxic time because it's clear and it really does have a detrimental effect on our relationships. Hey friend, ever wondered why you're so tired all the time? Why you need that afternoon caffeine hit every day just to stay in the game? Hint, you probably need more sleep. So I created something just for you. It's my 7-day sleep makeover. I'll teach you the 3 steps you need to move from exhausted to energized so you can live out your brilliant dreams. Head to brilliantbalance.net/sleep and start your sleep makeover today. You're going to love this. And the long and the short of it is, if this goes on for too long, our relationships just kind of disintegrate. They fall by the wayside. The kids grow up and we don't remember their childhoods. Or we're 20 or 25 years into a marriage and we're like, who is this person? Right? Because we haven't really been connected. We've been sort of flying through life, not really ever dropping in. And every time I talk about this, I think about, there's this Indigo Girls song that I love. And there's a line in the song that says, why do we hurdle ourselves through every inch of time and space? I must say around some corner, I can sense a resting place. And I think about that line every time I'm talking about this subject because we're hurtling ourselves through time and space, right? Full speed ahead. And around some corner, there better be a resting place or we're going to be in trouble. Okay, so the first two big risks, the first one is this chronic stress response, and that is a danger to us physically. Our bodies will not operate the way we want them to. The second is a relationship risk, right, which is this notion of toxic time and that our relationships suffer when we are too busy to really drop into the moment. And the third one, the one I think may be the biggest danger of all, is when we are busy all the time, we have no time to think. In short, right, we're reacting all the time. We are just responding to our environment. Things are getting thrown at us and we're grabbing them and it's like playing hot potato. We just want to get them out of our hands or off of our desk. The invitation comes in and we say, yes, she can be at this birthday party and I'm going to drive from here to there on this date and I got to get this gift and pick her up at this time and then we're going straight to soccer practice and then after I pick them up from soccer, it's breathless, right? We're living in this breathless pace. Not having time to think, to really consider what do we want things to look like means there's no clarity. There's no clarity of vision on what are we actually steering our lives and our time toward. And when we don't have time to think, we can't possibly make choices because we're never in that phase of evaluating options. I could do A or B. I could accept or decline this invitation. I could say yes or no to that project, right? We just do it. It's coming at us, get it off my desk, I'm going to do it fast. When we don't have time to think, we rob ourselves of creativity. Creativity takes time. Creative solutions to problems, whether that's, I actually want to make something in the world that never existed before, or I want to see that problem through a new lens so that I can come up with a different solution. That takes space. It takes time. And when we're busy all the time, we never pause to set an intention. We never say, here's what I want it to look like. We also never pause for reflection to assess, how's it working? How's this working for me? Am I getting the results that I want? Is there anything that I would like to change? How would we even know what we wanted to change, right? Or what impact those changes could have? We are just flying through doing. And this really is the biggest issue I see in the population of women I coach. Women who are high achievers, they are committed wives, mothers, friends, employees, they are A++ people, and they are on all the time. And being on all the time means that too often they turn their brain off and they just kind of fly through the day. And that lack of intention, that lack of planning, pausing, of thinking, it's dangerous because when you live that way and you don't ever take the time to consider what you really want and how to get it and what would have to be true to make it so, then you don't ever get them, right? You get what you already have. You get more of what you already have. So if you are taking a look at your life, the question you want to be asking yourself first with reflection, right? So pause to reflect is, what am I happy with in my life today? And what am I not so happy with in my life today? Both big and little things. You can be unhappy that that light bulb is still burned out and you haven't replaced it, right? You can be unhappy that that smoke detector is beeping, telling you the battery needs to be replaced and you still haven't replaced it. Like little things like that, you have to pause to notice. Or you could be unhappy with some big things. Like, I'm not happy with my relationship with one of my children. Or I'm not really happy with the job I'm in. Or I'm not really happy with the way I'm taking care of myself, right? But you have to be willing to pause and slow down long enough to think, and then to begin to reset an intention and get creative, to reset a vision. What do I want it to look like? What do I want my relationship with that child to look like? What would my vision be? What creative solutions could emerge when I actually have some time to think? What actions could I take if I were being choiceful about where I was spending my time and saying no to some things that do not deserve to have my time right now? right? These are the magical questions, y'all. These are the questions that they will change the course of your life. And we rob ourselves of those questions when we are too busy. And that is the real danger of this insane lifestyle that so many of us have signed up for. So I want you to ask yourself, which one of these risks is showing up for me? Am I feeling the physical symptoms of being busy all the time? Am I exhausted? Am I starting to have headaches or body aches or stomach problems? Do I feel just not well as a result of this pace? Are my relationships suffering? Am I so busy that I'm not really ever being fully present with the people that I care about? Or am I just on a really fast train to the wrong destination because I have no time to think and to consider what I really want to be steering my life toward? Those are some big questions. And if you want some support in thinking through those questions, if you want some frameworks to consider, by all means, reach out and talk to me and or one of the women on my team. That's what we do every day, is we support women through these questions. It's really easy to find us. Probably the easiest thing to do is be in the Brilliant Balance Facebook group and just direct message me from that group. And we'll get you hooked up either with me or somebody on my team to chat with about where you're struggling and what you think could be better. And it would be so fun to do that with you. We get to do it every day, and it is the very best work I can imagine doing. If you liked today's episode, if you were touched by something today and you had an aha or an insight, would you share it with a friend? It's so easy. Just take the link to the episode and text it to them. Say, hey, listen to this. I loved this episode and you might too. Virtually any podcast player makes it really easy to forward the episode to a friend. So be generous with what you're learning. You took your time to listen, share it with somebody else who could benefit. And if you're a longtime listener, I would love it if you would write a review of the show. They absolutely, first of all, they make my day when I get to read these. And they really help other women who are discovering the show decide if it's right for them. So here's a great one from Maria. She said, I've been a listener for a few months now, and this podcast has it all. Super inspirational, actionable ideas, and valuable solutions to the crazy mom female life. I'll continue to listen in 2020, and I'm so excited for the content this year. Thank you so much for sharing. So thank you, Maria, for taking a second to review the show. It's just that simple. You can do it on any podcast service where you listen. Also, if you are an Instagram user, you can follow along with the Brilliant Balance content. On Instagram, we are at brilliant_balance. We put links to the podcast episodes and all kinds of inspiring quotes and content there for you. And if you want a more behind the scenes view of all things Brilliant Balance, you can follow me at Skolnicki. That's all for today, rock stars. Till next time, let's be brilliant.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.